Fire them up. That's what we do here on the Andrew Gosser Show. We fire them up. It's another week of broadcast excellence here on the Andrew Gosser Show on 1039 WYAB. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. We're even streaming on Facebook, but don't tell anybody. Well, no, tell somebody. And we're streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal that is 1039, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to Scream. Go ahead and share it out there and help us grow the station, grow the channel. We'd appreciate that. You can follow me on X today. It's just at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. Yep. And the phone number, if you want to be part of the program, something tells me we're going to get phone calls today. 601-879-0002. Text line is open at 601-879-5060. Got some spicy ones. Yep. But it doesn't matter how spicy the texts get, doesn't matter how heated the phone calls get. The mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We are here to equip the saints, ladies and gentlemen. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. And, you know, we are living in a world of delusion. We don't know up from right, wrong from down. We're just a confused nation. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, they shall also surely reap. And you know, there's so much going on. I could go international with Israel and Iran thing. I know that there's a big story about an island coming out, new island in the middle of the Med, and in the Straits out there that's getting some publicity. There's a lot to talk about here in the United States with the reflection pool, and how the liberals are just completely upset about the color that was picked. They must have preferred the putrid algae green to the American blue color that was selected. I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. We got President Trump walking out on Meet the Depressed, NBC, and Kirsten Welker, that witch. You know, just society in general is just angrier. And I don't want to be angry. I want solutions, like many of you do. And we've got all sorts of stuff to kick off on, get started on. Pulling up my X account here. You know what? I don't even want to start off with X. I'm going to start off with the Hinds County Stump on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, as my computer catches up. Hinds County Stump. Well, maybe not. There's a great post that was put out by a state rep from the Mississippi Black Caucus, and I want to read it, so much so that I'm willing to reset my computer here to get going, because I think that it really plays into what's going on in the culture, not the black culture, not the white culture, but the culture. There we go. And it's a great piece of literature. It's a great statement that I think a lot of us can go ahead and follow. I'm almost there, I promise. And it's coming from the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus. And I want to make sure I get his name right. Man, I've never had my computer jack up like that. I was so prepared. Oh, you know what? We'll just go to something else, and I will get back to the black culture stuff and the white culture stuff. People have been talking about how certain people have been criticizing, oh, it's this culture or that culture. But I've got this here on X of all the people who have been attacking ICE, and they've got mugshots of them all. And I just want to kind of go through them to set the table as Facebook decides to get back with whatever it is that it needs to do. And there's over 40 mugshots here. And I just thought we would culturally appropriate each one. And the first one, white dude, looks like old 40s. young white dude that's dressing like a woman with a mustache. This one is an androgynous person. I can't tell if they're Hispanic, black, but they're definitely not white. White dude with the Hitler mustache. White dude with the Hitler mustache. White girl. Androgynous white person. White male. Androgynous white person. Hispanic. Skinhead, unable to tell sex, so we'll call him androgynous. White male with pink and blue hair, nicely striped. White male with eyeliner and trying to dress like a female. White androgynous. White androgynous. White androgynous. White androgynous. White androgynous. White androgynous. White male with yellow and pink hair. Androgynous white male. Purple-haired pink female. White. White woman. White woman. White woman. White woman, blue hair. White woman with the big hairy carry glasses. White woman. White woman. White woman. White male, potentially Hispanic, teardrop tattoo, dyed hair. What did we not hear in that breakdown? You know, what did we not hear? Weren't too many black people protesting ICE. Nope, not too many black people at all protesting ICE. And the truth of the matter is that when we start talking about culture, we have to be fully transparent on this. And it comes to this message from Representative Kabir Kareem. Now, if I said your name wrong, sir, I apologize for that. I apologize for that because you know me and names. But he came out with this message, and I think it fits into the mass shooting that happened earlier or this weekend. And this is what it says: parents, grandparents, guardians, mentors, pastors, oh, included the pastors, good deal, coaches, and all who have a hand in raising our children. I'm asking you to pay close attention. Beginning July 1st, 2026, Mississippi Senate Bill 2710 will dramatically change the way our state handles firearm-related crimes with young people. Whether you agree with the law or not, every parent needs to understand what is at stake. For generations, youth court has served as a place where many young people who have made mistakes could receive guidance, intervention, rehabilitation, and a second chance. Under this new law, however, a juvenile who commits a violent crime involving a firearm may no longer receive those protections. Instead, they will be prosecuted as adults in circuit court and face life-altering consequences. Does that not sum up how screwed up our entire American civilization is right now? There are no consequences. You have an 8-team soccer tournament and people in 7th place are getting medals that look better than the gold medal in the Olympics. We all make choices every day that have consequences, and we have worked so hard over the past 20 years to make life without consequences that it no longer matters. It's frustrating to me. I never lost anyone close to me from in a civilian sense from a gunshot, but I did lose a god sister to a drunk driver. How you drink 3 pitchers of Long Island iced teas, I have no idea. But that guy made life-altering consequences, not just for my god sister, but for me, my family, my aunt and uncle. Our whole entire family was completely devastated for the entire year. We still get all fired up over it. And we've turned our court system into a daycare. The youth court has turned into something that it should have never been. But it gets better. A teenager who picks up a gun and commits a violent act may find themselves facing adult prison sentences. Good. We need to do that. A permanent criminal record. Good. We need to do that. A future forever changed. Yep. It should have been based on the parents making those decisions and raising their kids the right way. But the culture doesn't glamorize the nuclear family. We try to embrace Gay Pride Month, which is dead, by the way. Not one Fortune 500 company does it, and there's 7 companies out there who actually have done something about gay pride this month. And good for those 7 companies, because 'cause we'll just boycott the hell out of them too. The streets do not tell our children about courtrooms, prison cells, lost opportunities. We're about the street. I know about the street. And broken families that often follow violence. As parents, we must tell them the truth. Man, this is the best thing that Mr. Um, Kareem has put out. Yep, it's time to tell the truth. There is a certain culture out there. I'm not calling it black culture. I'm not calling it white culture. I'm calling it death culture that disvalues the value of young kids, mothers, fathers, marriages, and who's promoted it. I could spit some bars if you want. It'd be pretty funny. The Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus has long advocated for prevention, education, mentorship, and opportunities. This is just political mumbo jumbo speech that someone who's got an MBA in or MPA and Masters of Public Administration wrote to sound politically fortuitous. We believe every child deserves a chance to learn from mistake, grow, and become productive citizens. Yeah, you learn that on the playground when you talk crap to a first grader when you're in kindergarten. You learn real quick. But this is where it gets so hypocritical, in my opinion. We don't hear in certain communities, "Hey, don't don't have sex until you get married." We don't have certain things where we say, "That woman, it looks absolutely the fool twerking on a bar." Tonight, sit down with your children. When's the last time the family has sat down at the kitchen table for dinner? We used to do it all the time until our daughter started volleyball, and now we don't do it that much at all. And that's just part of growing up. Tell them about accountability. "Oh, no, you can't be accountable. Slavery for the last 250 years, we're gonna be in slavery for another 400. No accountability." And when we do try to have accountability, it gets buried in certain segments of the news media, which we'll talk about Kirsten Wilker and NBC and CBS and ABC. Talk to them about conflict resolution. Representative Kabir, I couldn't agree more. It just seems that who's got the bigger gun and who draws it first? Who escalates it? Who's out there yelling and screaming, and who's out there actually trying to de-escalate? What is culture actually promoting? Talk to them about the value of their future. How about having some single mothers who've been left by some dorks who had 15 minutes of fun, and now you've brought a life into this world? How about sitting down with the young sisters saying, "Hey, you don't need to do that. That's not a good idea. Maybe focus on learning how to read and write and do basic math. If you really want to get special, learn algebra and geometry. Get focused on the future. Put yourself on a path. Understand the importance of a nuclear family and having God involved in that, by the way. Pastors." I find this a little bit hypocritical from that community because they don't talk about it. Teach them that carrying a firearm, handling a stolen weapon, or participating in gun violence is not a game. Well, shoot. Man, I almost cussed right there. You got Halo, Call of Duty, what is it? Something modern warfare. I mean, all we promote is violence in American culture. And notice I didn't say black culture, I said American culture. Our children should be focused on the classrooms, and I'd also say the farming fields, graduation stages, where graduation ceremonies aren't interrupted by parents acting the fool and getting into fights, throwing chairs. Careers, entrepreneurship, and building their dreams, not courtrooms, prison cells, and criminal records. Well, there's gonna be business in courtrooms. There's gonna be careers in prison cells. There's gonna be careers in criminal records. The most important conversation you can have with your child today could determine the direction of their life tomorrow. Well, I would say the most important conversation you can have with your kids is starting exposing them to God as soon as you possibly can. understanding that, hey, there are people out there who are less fortunate than you, that don't have the same opportunities as you do. You know, it's so true, so true. America on its worst day is better than any country out there on its best. As parents, we are their first teachers. Yes, that doesn't mean the iPad is their first teacher. It doesn't mean that their cell phone is their first teacher. As communities, we are the first line of defense. No, you're the first line of education, of real community, of being able to go out in the streets at night and not worry about getting shot or carjacked. I've got a lot more to say to this, but the last thing I want to say about the segment, I know it started off a little bit rocky, but never ever use Meta or Facebook as a source. Not because it's not there, but because it refreshes itself, and then it'll try to hide it because you've already read it once. The algorithm is evil. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 1039 WYAB 601-879-0002. If you want to chime in on this, look, this is a message to the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus and their chairman, Representative Kabir Kareem. Could you please get on X? Or could you please post your press releases somewhere other than Facebook? Because Facebook is retarded. We're trying to run a professional organization here, and Facebook decides it's going to go off and be an individual. It's going to go on its own program. It's going to invoke its own algorithm. It's going to act like a teenager that doesn't have any upbringing. It's going to try to sit there and put something on you that you don't want. I have to agree with Representative Kareem that pastors and parents, not necessarily in that order, are important. Families are important. But this first quote just says it. And maybe he's writing this off the cuff. And if he is, it is. But this is coming from the Black Caucus, so I've got to assume that other people read it. Grandparents, guardian, mentors, pastors, coaches. Where's the moms? Where's the dads? It doesn't mention mom and dad. Because since straight out of Compton, the nuclear family's been completely destroyed. And make no mistake about it, it's not a black thing. This is an entertainment thing where abortion is glorified and celebrated, where sneaky links are appreciated, where hookup culture is promoted, not just on television, but in social media and in the movie screens. There's a reason Hollywood is absolutely dying. I was talking to Clay about this. The wife and I, we found a new YouTube channel that we actually incredibly enjoy. And if you just type in LB, I think it is, or maybe it's LJ, can't remember. I think it's LJ on YouTube. This guy is incredible. He's out of Atlanta. He just drives around to places and eats their food. And this guy, he decided he was going to drive from Atlanta to Memphis, go into the hood, and get on Facebook Marketplace and start looking up food. And I want to do that, man. I want to, and it's cool because he's got all the Facebook links to all the places that he went. I want to go try some of this stuff. And the sweepy was like, well, maybe we should try it in Jackson first. I'm like, all right, let's do that. And then we hear about the trail ride. We got to sit there and take a long, hard look in the mirror, ladies and gentlemen. Long, hard look in the mirror. We're seeing it more and more where these people, and I'm not talking about Representative Kareem. Nope. These people who are in entertainment and in politics are sitting there all of a sudden saying, we need people back in kids' lives. There is nothing more heartbreaking than this commercial that has a new mother, first-time mother, going back to work, but she's checking in on her child from a Zoom camera with her daycare provider that she's hired. At what point are we going to say that, you know what, being a stay-at-home mom is the most important job in a child's life, period? Not a stay-at-home father. I know you can reverse the roles, and I know that life's not perfect, and not all of us get the golden egg, the Willy Wonka golden ticket. But back in the day, 78% of black households had a mother and a father in it. Not so much anymore. Same could be said about white parents. Not so much anymore. Surprisingly, the Asians and the Indians have the highest level of marriages with kids in the home. And they are the ones who get discriminated on the most by Yale and Harvard and Colgate, Brown University, Columbia. We've completely turned what our families should be doing into something that's wrong, and whatever feels good, that's what we should be doing. And with social media and now the instant gratification, heck, the only thing we need is more data centers to push the data. I'm seriously contemplating getting another AI subscription. Hey, let's take this phone call real quick. Hey, how's it going? You're on the air. Well, let's try it one more time.
Oh,
Hey, how's it going? You're on the air. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. It got a little delay.
yeah, you saying a mouthful right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, I was just talking to somebody about this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the TV. It's television over the past, I say, 40 years as well.
I agree.
It, they kind of painted a picture of. I say it didn't show stability within a family unit,
I hear
even
you.
for on every aspect,
Yep.
white, white and black.
Yes, sir.
It showed women leaving men all the time.
I'm not arguing.
Women not want to be married all the time. Then it started showing women being strippers and prostitutes and making it, glorifying it and making it cool. Then we are some dumb Americans. We believe anything we see on TV and we think that's the thing to do. Any trend, any fad that we see on TV, we imitate it in real life and find out that was the wrong thing to do later on.
I agree. I agree completely,
So
sir.
I'll blame American TV
I
as well
would you say
over the past 40, 50 years.
would you, instead of saying TV, would you say American entertainment instead?
No, I'm getting direct to it, the American
All
television.
right.
The American household TV from VCR tapes on down
There you
to
go.
Blu-ray. All that movies, all that stuff. And then also even the movies that paint a fake picture of what a family is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to have ups and downs, but show how you overcame them. Don't make it seem like everything Christmas.
Relationships are tough, man.
Everybody thought that you're supposed to have a Home Alone family.
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna have a home. You don't even live in Chicago. You live in Mississippi.
Brother, preach.
Yeah. Home Alone was depicted in Chicago.
Yeah, it
Donald
was.
Trump was in the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah, that was in New York.
Yep.
Home Alone 1 was in Chicago. They were living in Chicago.
I grew up.
He got left the first time.
Yeah,
I think Donald Trump was in one of those movies.
he was in Home Alone 2. I grew up about 30
Okay.
minutes away from Home Alone 1.
In the entire America loved Donald Trump then.
Yep.
I guess they didn't want him to be the president, but they loved him as a person, as an entertainer.
There you go.
You know.
We loved him on The
But
Apprentice, didn't we? We loved The Apprentice.
yeah, a lot of people. I didn't watch The Apprentice, but I heard a lot of people were watching The Apprentice and stuff like that. But the thing about it is that it's the TV, and then we buy into the TV, and also when it comes down to race relations, you gotta look at the fact that black people, we have a lot of issues on top of a lot of issues. I was talking to somebody about this too. Like if you guys don't use, I don't hear you, Clay, or Chip talking about AI. Do you use AI?
Oh, I talk about AI all the time, my friend.
No. I'm talking about that you utilize it. Do you have a AI app downloaded on your phone?
Nope, but I do have a Grok that's tied into X.
Okay, well, you don't use the AI. Do you know what AI is?
Artificial intelligence. And sir, I don't want to mislead you or the audience. I do use it as a search tool to find stories to go read. So I don't want to
Okay, which one do you use?
Google Chrome. It's built into Google Chrome, and I also use the Grok app. That's not an app. It's just built into the X app, I should say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Google, and the one with Google Chrome built in. What is it called?
I don't know what's. Let me pull up a Google because I don't have it open in front of me.
But the point of the matter is that AI. We all know you can use AI as a search tool, right?
Yep.
And do you think it's a good search tool or a bad search tool?
I think it's whatever we decide to program it with. If we just give it real data, it will be all right. If we give it fake data, it's horrible. And you can't trust it.
Okay.
You can't trust AI.
Okay, so if you put what are the problems with Mississippi and AI. It will tell you everything that's wrong with Mississippi that you guys never talk about.
Ooh, would you like? What should we? Can you hold through the break, brother? I'm up against a break.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Y'all
it.
never talk about that.
I want to talk about it, so I'm holding you through the break. Stay right there. You are listening to the Andrew Gossett Show. Who do I got on the phone with?
Can
I get like a name for you?
Yeah, my name Reggie.
We're talking with Reggie here on 103.9 WYAB. We're going to be back in about 4 minutes. Reggie, I really appreciate you holding through the break, my friend.
No problem.
Because I want to talk about these things, but I don't want to get so in a way where people start yelling at each other, because then it's never good. But yeah, I'm going to put you on hold. It's going to be silent for about another 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and then I'll be right back to you. And then I want to hear about the things, because I'm going to be writing it down, because I'm going to do shows on it. I'll go there.
All right. Okay.
Yep. I'll be right back.
Of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Here's Greg Gutfeld.
We have to lose the fear of defending success. No one's going to make me feel guilty for being rich because I've been poor. I've been poor. I've been rich. I like being rich. I want you to be rich. I want you to be really rich, richer than me, but I don't want you to take it from me. I don't want you to cheat. I don't want you to steal. I want you to work hard for it, work hard the way I did, and then you're really going to like it. And do not listen to these agents of envy. Our defense against them has always been handicapped by fear. There's nothing worse than a wealthy person who has worked 5 decades to get there will just sit there and take arrogant, self-indulgent attacks from some failed 27-year-old who took a class, who's never done anything in their life, telling you you're greedy. Screw you.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
If you've had an accident, remember Clinton Body Shop. We work for you, not your insurance company. Don't be misled by someone telling you that you will have to pay more than your deductible. Our shops hold multiple certifications from the makers of today's vehicles. We are the longest running iCar Gold Class certified repair facility in Mississippi. We know how to repair your vehicle, and we will work with your insurance company on your behalf. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Hi, this is Rita Jensen with Remax Connection, and I want to tell you, I've lived in Flora for over 50 years. I'm a graduate of Tri-County Academy, went there the first day the doors opened. If you're thinking about putting your children into Tri-County Academy and need a place to live, then give me a call. Without a doubt, the Flora expert when it comes to real estate. So if you need a place to live, give me a call. Rita Jensen, Remax Connection. 601-720-4037 or go to my website, ritajensen.net.
Fraud is everywhere these days. The good news, there are simple steps that you can take to help stay safe. AARP Mississippi is hosting free fraud prevention events to help protect yourself, like free shred events that let you safely dispose of sensitive documents, and free fraud prevention workshops in person and online. Register for a free fraud prevention event at www.aarp.org/ms.
Seeing well plays a big role in helping you read well. That's why it's not a minute too soon for students of all ages to schedule an eye exam with Dr. Bobby C. Pankey and Associates in Clinton and Richland. They can also help you with a great selection of frames, lenses, and contacts, all at affordable prices. See well, read well, do well. For all your back-to-school eye care needs, visit Optical 2000 Clinton and Richland. Optical-2000.com.
Stay in touch. Follow Optical 2000 on Facebook.
Grill lovers already know about Grills of Mississippi, and so should you. Grills of Mississippi carries premium Weber grills, Yoder smokers, and outdoor kitchen accessories to take your backyard cooking to the next level. Whether you're a weekend griller or a serious pitmaster, Grills of Mississippi has the brands, the knowledge, and the service to help you do it right. Turn your backyard into the ultimate gathering spot. Visit grillsofms.com today. Grills of Mississippi, where great cooking starts.
yeah. It's only on the Andrew Gosser Show and only on 103.9 WYAB. We're talking with Brother Reggie. Reggie, you there?
Yes.
Sir, you said that there were some topics that we're not talking about. And I don't know if you want to stay on the AI topic or you want to go into those topics that we need to talk about. But I'm interested in either one. You've got people calling in and not calling in, but texting in, saying there's a reason they call it television programming. And you're hitting a nerve with a lot of people out there. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like you guys, you don't talk about, like, the different parts of Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And Mississippi is in a bad place right now. Like, really bad place. Really bad shape. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got the southwest part of Mississippi. I'm not sure if you were familiar with the southwest part of Mississippi, right?
I'm only really Terry and Madison, and that's about all I know. I've traveled through there, but sir, I couldn't say that I have a really good knowledge of it. But if you enlighten me, I'll work on it.
Oh, okay. People. That's what you guys got to start doing. Broaden your perspective on what's going on. Like, you ignorant. You and Clay and Chip, y'all are ignorant. Y'all don't know everything that's going on with the black community, with the state of Mississippi, and you won't tell the truth about what went on before and how it still has an effect still to this day.
I think I've been pretty open about the problems in Mississippi in the past. Granted, I'm not from Mississippi. But
let me say this.
Yes, sir.
Let me say this. Somebody asked me, said, what is wrong with the people in the small towns of Mississippi? Like, what's wrong with the black people in the small towns of Mississippi? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They have been deprived of a lot of resources that were never intended for them to have in the first place. But now it's 2026, and everybody want to know what's going on. What's the problem? Oh, God, everything's going crazy. Of course it's going to go crazy. Anytime you have always deprived a certain amount of people, certain type of people in a certain area, and as time goes on, things are going to get worse and worse. But you telling these people every day on the radio, behave, act normal, stop doing this, do this, and do that. How can you do that? It's a bunch of resources that have been taken from you and a bunch of resources that have not even been given to you and a bunch of resources that are not going to never be given to you.
Reggie, can you give me
everything?
Can you tell me?
Wait a minute, let me finish. To straighten up the situation. So what you say move then. Well, okay, moving is cool, but then you have a problem with people moving in certain areas. Then you have a problem.
I don't have a problem with anybody moving anywhere.
Wait a minute. Your Clay and Chip do have a problem.
I'm not Clay and I'm not Chip.
Moving in a certain area, but you use on the radio with them today, so you are Clay and Chip.
No,
so guess
that's
what?
you. Wait a minute, hold on.
You collaborate with Clay a lot, sir.
Reggie, I gotta pull you down there because we collaborate with people that we don't agree with all the time. That's like the major thing of this show is talking to people who disagree
with Clay live on the air.
I do all the time. I go complete biblical on them. But let me finish my point. Let me get my couple points in here.
Go ahead.
So number one is if we don't know what we don't know, I was going to ask you, can you tell me 2 towns that I can go to that I can go visit? Because I'm a military guy. I go anywhere. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm not afraid to go anywhere. But if there's places I can go, number one. But number two, when we say we haven't called out stuff, we have. I have. I've talked about how we've had all sorts of funding that's not gone to where it's supposed to go. I talk about the fraud all the time. I talk about the immigration. It's crushing the white community, but it's absolutely destroying the black community. It's taking away all sorts of jobs.
I'm going to tell you where you can go. You can go to Prentice, Mississippi.
Okay.
All in that area, Monticello, all in that area. I think Cindy Hyde Smith is from Monticello. There's no economic, nothing to pull yourself up out your own bootstrap. Ain't nothing but open farmland. Open farmland for farmers that have had it for years, passed down generations.
Yep.
All up in there from Prentice all the way down 49 South.
You want to know what?
Then you go 49 South. Wait a minute. You go 49 South and get off on 49 South and go west.
I
All
promise.
that open land, we could have an NFL stadium in Mississippi.
I'll tell you what, you've hit a note, and I'm telling you
Hey,
what.
hold on. Let me just say one more thing.
I got two
Then
callers.
why don't you bring jobs there for those people?
Hey, I'm all
Why
about.
no jobs coming to that area in Southwest Mississippi? And then let's talk about the Delta. No jobs.
Well, then you know what? That's for the local community to say, hey, this is the things that we want to do in Prentice, Mississippi. But I give you my word, Reggie. No, I got to take this other phone call. But let me.
They don't have an interstate. It was never designed for that type of stuff. It was designed for slavery and farming, sir. So basically, we got 25 counties still on slavery level.
Reggie, I'm just going to have to leave it there. I let you get your point out. I didn't interrupt.
We got 25
but I'm going to take this other.
Mississippi instead of county.
No, I disagree with that completely. And Reggie, I see what you're doing, and I'm just not going to go down that road. I think you're right with the AI. I think you're right with the television. I think you're right with I called it entertainment. You did not call it entertainment, so I don't want to put words in your mouth. But I don't want to get into this shouting match, and I'm just not going to allow to do that. But I do have other callers on the phone, and we're going to go to line 2. Hey, are you there? Hello, are you there?
I'm here, but I can't hear you.
Oh, that's really strange. Try calling back.
I can't hear you.
You're going to have to call back. Something with line 2, it just never works the way it's supposed to. And I don't necessarily get it. But I hope you call back, because I think there we go. Hey, are you there?
Hey, Andrew, I can hear you now.
I don't understand we got different lines, and sometimes line 2 just doesn't pick up, even when I hit the button right. It's probably operator.
All right, I'll be quick. I'll be quick with Reggie. Number one, there is nothing that is owed to the Black community in Mississippi. That debt has already been paid tenfold with the blood and treasure of thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals back in the 1860s. As far as the Prentice and places like that, I've traveled all over the state. I've lived in the state twice. This last time, I've been here over 20 years. I'm telling you right now, if you've got a problem with something that you're not getting done in Prentice, Mississippi or Southwest Mississippi, you have a congressional representative in Benny Thompson that has been there for over 30 years. So if your situation has not improved, you know exactly who to talk to, because he has kept you in that situation. Third, he can come in and blame you, blame Kim, and heck, he could even blame me. But the greatest proportion of criminal activity that occurs in the state, and there is no excuse for it, you can't use past grievances or anything like that, is conducted by Black individuals in the state of Mississippi. That is because we have gone from a family that had 72% had a father in the home to less than 15% now have a father in the home.
That's
so
tragic.
You need to look in the mirror, Reggie. If you want to correct the problem that you're in, correct it. As far as building a football stadium out in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to ever be built because we don't have the amount of traffic that would go to it. You can't create the traffic and create the demand. You've got to build over time. Reggie is just uneducated and uninformed.
I was going to start going after the individual points he was making, but at the point, I just wanted him to get it out there, because we have to somehow start reaching people. And I think that when we take different calls from different points of view, we do that. This is Chris Hinkle, everybody. He will be guest hosted next Tuesday for me, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So with Reggie, you notice he never came up with an example about he was being deprived or had something taken away. He just talked about an area where there's not an interstate or a football stadium. That's not the be-all, end-all answer to it. You got to start earning on your own. If you're dependent on the government, then you are a slave. If Reggie wants to be dependent on Benny Thompson and dependent on federal government resources and not do anything to better themselves, then he's choosing to be a slave to the federal government. I just had this conversation with Mr. White, who is the Transportation Commission executive. He's the executive director of the Transportation Commission in Mississippi. Yep. He was bragging about how much money we get back in from the federal government.
Chris, I don't mean
still got slavery in Mississippi.
Chris, I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to get up against this break.
No. I know you got to run.
Yep.
But yeah, anytime Reggie wants to debate, tell him to call out next Tuesday.
Yep.
I'll dedicate half the show to debate him.
Yep, I'll definitely do that. And I know he's listening. But that was Brother Chris Hinkle. This is Andrew Gosser, and we are on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
And more time growing your business. Schedule your consultation today at peoplelease.com. That's peoplelease.com.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is leveling up. A whole new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is now open at the Reservoir at Beethoven's Boardwalk in Ridgeland, right next door to Cock of the Walk. And the new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris will have all of your old favorites too, like the Acme Dynamite Balls and Garlic Knots, and the best specialty pizzas ever, like the Pig, the Sergeant Pepperoni, the Serpent Turf, and lots more. Come to the all-new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris location on the Res in Ridgeland, next door to Cock of the Walk.
Are you looking for a church family to connect with? One that will provide opportunities to grow in your spiritual life, as well as a chance to serve others? First Baptist Flora may be just the place for you. We're located at 102 Jackson Street in Flora. To worship with us in person, we have a traditional worship service that begins Sunday mornings at 8:30. Then our life groups meet at 9:45, and the Refuge Contemporary service begins at 11 a.m. We also have a midweek service every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So come join us at First Baptist Flora, where we're making much of Jesus.
As Christians, it's our calling to be faithful to Christ and obedient to the Great Commission. Our heart's desire and prayer to God is that through our efforts, many would receive and rest upon Christ alone as he is offered to them in the gospel. I'm David Strain, Senior Minister at First Presbyterian Church of Jackson, inviting you and your family to join us as we strive to fulfill that mission. We're located on North State Street in Jackson. Times of our services can be found at fpcjackson.org. You can also hear the good news about Jesus Christ each Sunday morning at 9:30 on 103.9 WYAB.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is leveling up. A whole new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris is now open at the Reservoir at Beethoven's Boardwalk in Ridgeland, right next door to Cock of the Walk. And the new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris will have all of your old favorites too, like the Acme Dynamite Balls and Garlic Knots, and the best specialty pizzas ever, like the Pig, the Sergeant Pepperoni, the Serpent Turf, and lots more. Come to the all-new Acme Pizza and Daiquiris location on the Res in Ridgeland, next door to Cock of the Walk.
Every night, thousands of Mississippians gather around the radio to follow the hottest team in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. And the voice leading the way? Madison's own Ben Ingram. Local Roots, a winning team. If your business wants to connect with loyal, engaged listeners all season long, there's still time to become a Braves broadcast sponsor on WYAB. To learn more, email info@wyab.com. It costs a lot less than you think. That's info@wyab.com.
Greetings. I'm Dr. Benny Tate, president of the Congregational Methodist Church denomination in Florence, Mississippi, and the pastor of Rock Springs Church in Milner, Georgia, inviting you to attend one of our services this week. Find a church near you at cm-church.org and be sure and listen for our weekly program, Apples of Gold from Rock Springs Church, here on 103.9 WYAB.
Listen to Apples of Gold every Sunday morning at 10.
And welcome back here to the Andrew Gosser Show. Callers, I got you calling in, but there's something I want to take issue with Reggie Slash. There's another alias out there, potentially could be Brother Thomas. But just because I disagree with Clay on something doesn't mean I don't have Clay Edwards back, because I've got his back. And he says stuff that makes everybody uncomfortable. And when I find it, this is just my own personal experience, my life experience, is that when people start getting hyped up and angry over something, it's because something that they have in their past that they haven't dealt with. and they need to repent for. And a lot of times I don't push back too hard on when some of these things go on, because why? I want to make sure that they get their point of view out. But beyond point, building an NFL stadium, I thought he just said a stadium. I didn't realize he said NFL stadium. That's just crazy to me. Who are we going to move? The Chicago Bears? I mean, let's get real about this. There's so much that needs to be talked about this. I mean, I've got like so much show prep done, but I just can go through the comments on Representative Kareem's post here, and just thousands of comments, and it was a solid write-up. I do think that he missed the mothers and the fathers, and that's an issue for me personally. Brother Chris Hinkle said 72% back in the day, Black families had mothers and fathers in the house, probably going to church, probably emphasizing the importance of a nuclear family. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. That's a problem. But that shouldn't be just for Black households. It should be for white households, Asian households, and Indian households. It's just a fact. It's nature. It's just a fact that two parents in the household, a mother and a father, kids are going to do better. But Gen X kind of screwed it up. It was all about us because we had to raise ourselves. Gen X was the first real generation to raise themselves, latchkey kids. And now we're seeing the continual downslope of it. Not good. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back for the second hour.
This is Central Mississippi's Stimulating Talk.
103.9 WYAB. Pocahontas, Jackson.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Iran and Israel say they have stopped attacks that reignited over the weekend in Jerusalem. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
Iran retaliating after Israel launched strikes Sunday against Iranian-backed Hezbollah in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Israel saying it was responding after the militant group fired into Israel. After Iran's initial missile barrage late Sunday, President Trump getting on the phone with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Over the weekend, the president warning Israel not to retaliate against Iran.
15 Iranians were injured in recent Israeli attacks, says the head of Iran's emergency medical services to the semi-official Tasnim news agency. Investigating a mass shooting over the weekend, police in Toledo, Ohio. 12 people injured, at least 2 people are being sought. ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
It was the city's annual Old West End Festival, where hundreds come out to celebrate the beginning of summer. Children playing, good food, dancing in the street before the chaos. Angry residents who at the council Sunday's planned festival events saying this tragedy is not a reflection of who they are.
The New York Knicks watch party outside Madison Square Garden is not happening tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Final. The NYPD says it's because President Trump is planning to attend the game. Matt McCool with the Secret Service.
The Secret Service, the NYPD, and our public safety partners have worked closely together to develop a multi-layered security plan. You will see Secret Service, police, and special agents, transportation security officers, federal air marshals, and the NYPD officers throughout the area.
Hours before the Titan security, 5 people were slashed yesterday at Penn Station, one of the nation's busiest train stations, just below Madison Square Garden. 1 person in custody. Offshore magnitude 7.8 earthquake hit the southern Philippines today. Officials say at least 32 people were killed, more than 200 others injured. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of?
Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979.
News brought to you this hour by Lee's Old Country Store, Antiques and Collectibles. Located on Highway 22 in Flora, a half mile west of 49 North.
Hitting the dusty trail and fellow trail riders too. This afternoon, you can expect a high at 88 and a 20% chance for a shower or storm. Tonight, mostly clear with a low at 72. Tuesday begins a streak of days with highs in the 90s at 92 and mostly sunny. 93 Wednesday, 94 Thursday, 95 Friday, but with a chance for storms. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. A fight at a trail ride in Northwest Jackson led to someone being shot and killed just after midnight Saturday, say Jackson police. The person killed has been ID'd as 18-year-old Jordan Worthy. 5 other people were also hurt at the ride, which was at Grants Field. JPD says they are still investigating. They have not announced arrests, and they are asking for tips. Meanwhile, in Leake County over the weekend, trouble was reported at a trail ride near Walnut Grove Saturday. Deputies were called out when someone called 911 and reported commotion, which turned out to be a fight, but it did not appear that there were any weapons. Why his vehicle left the road is still unclear, and the Highway Patrol is looking into the Saturday wreck in which 62-year-old Kenneth Morris of Brooklyn died in Perry County. That happened on Highway 29 about 7:30 that morning when his vehicle left the road and hit the side of a driveway and flipped, says the Highway Patrol. With a load of iron ore, several train cars came off the tracks in Harrison County Sunday morning. Emergency management in that county says they believe the derailment had something to do with heavy rain and damage to the tracks. The derailment was about 8 a.m., but no one was reported seriously hurt, and the train wasn't hauling anything that was a biohazard. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
Have you ever listened to WYAB and thought, I could do that? Well, maybe you can. 103.9 WYAB, Central Mississippi's stimulating talk radio station, is looking for fresh local voices to join our on-air lineup. Are you the person everybody argues politics with at work? The one your friends say should have a radio show? Then maybe it's time to stop yelling at the dashboard and start talking into a microphone. If you're passionate about current events, politics, faith, business, sports, or just telling it like it is, we want to hear from you. Previous radio experience is helpful, but personality, authenticity, and the ability to connect with listeners matter even more. This is your chance to be heard across all of Central Mississippi. If you think you've got what it takes to host a talk show on WYAB, send us a short audio sample and tell us about yourself. Email Matt at WYAB.com. That's Matt at WYAB.com today.
You love your land, and you have plans for it. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love the great deals on our versatile, reliable lineup, helping you turn dream projects into reality. Visit your Kubota dealer today for the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, 0% financing available, or save up to $5,500 off select compact tractors. Sale ends soon. Stop by your local dealer or go to GoKubota.com.
Visit Davini Equipment in Madison and Jackson or at DaviniEquipment.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and are not necessarily.
And we are back. Hour number 2 on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Moving and grooving. Chat is just absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Look, we are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. We are even streaming on that platform that begins with a F, but we don't like the name because they're a bunch of censorship artists over there. And we're streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the 50,000 watt blowtorch of a signal, like Brother Thomas / Reggie / whatever he's going to call himself today, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Follow me on X. I promise I won't change my name. Andrew Gosser, ANDREWGASSER. Yep. If you want to call into the show, line's open, 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. But no matter what's going on, the mission remains the same. We are here to equip the saints, ladies and gentlemen. Who are the saints? You all are the saints. Look, this is just, there's so many deceivers out there. There's so many people out there who are just sitting there acting the fool. And I don't want to be one of those people. So do not be deceived. God is not mocked in any way, shape, matter, form, nature, or relationship. For whoever one sows, one will also reap. And I think that's really telling about some people. As a husband, there are times that I'm keeping surprises from the sweet bee. And I've come to learn that the sweet bee does not like surprises. So like if I'm planning a dinner date or movie night or something like that, surprises don't work. But if the sweet bee says, hey, I want to go do something, and I know I've got something planned, I might say, oh, well, we got something going on here. And then we go do the surprise, and she's like, you lied to me. You didn't tell me about the surprise. She doesn't get upset with me and think that I'm lying to her. But if I were to actually deceive my wife on something, oh, sweet bee, I'm going into the radio show today, and I'm not going to the radio show. I'm going to a hotel or something. Now, that's something that can be looked at as poor. And I never want to be that way. I'm not changing my name for nobody. I'll always treat you with the respect that you deserve. But, man, if you can't even tell me honestly your name, or even you got a call sign, you could have said Sponge. Well, don't say Sponge because I'll know you're a liar then. Because I've got a call sign that is well-earned. It cannot be talked about. I don't know if I want to switch to Iran. Reggie / Thomas brought up AI, and the government's got 30 days to make the mass majority of humanity believe that AI is real and reality is dead. Oil prices, despite all the craziness going on, $92 for West Texas crude, $95 for Brent crude. That's the stuff that's going out of the Middle East, but not through the Straits of Hormuz. You are seeing the market correct itself as President Trump tries to go after the people who mock and ridicule Christianity, that enslave women and children, that torture homosexuals. We're trying to do something good over there, and people are sitting there continuing trying to cook President Trump on this. And it all comes down to the media. And Brother Thomas / Reggie / whatever was right when he talked about the television programming. He's absolutely correct. And I've got the proof here to put it. Scott Pelley, who was fired from CBS 60 Minutes, talks about this.
Because we certainly didn't believe that.
Well, hold on. It's got to replay again. 1, 2, 3, go.
What was the feeling about that particular opening salvo to the team?
She, I am told, said something to the effect of, why do you think the country thinks you're biased? But she didn't offer any kind of a metric. What's your metric? Why do you think so? Do you have a poll? Is there market research? What are you talking about? Because
this is disgraced and fired CBS anchor Scott Pelley. Well, that's not necessarily needed to be going ahead and worried about the metrics. How about being deceptively editing the Kamala Harris interview right before the 2024 presidential election? I think that kind of showed that people should not trust 60 Minutes and CBS News. All sides news, often favoritism towards Democrat viewpoints, bias by omission. Ad Font Media says 60 Minutes skews to the left, biased at 99.79% of the time out of 10. Brought up that selective editing of political interviews, mentions Kamala, soft interviews with Democrats while heavy hitting on Republicans, COVID lab leak coverage, deferring and believing that it wasn't a Chinese virus, instead of going ahead and making anybody who said it was a Chinese virus look mocked, scorned, and ridiculed. So that brings us up to President Trump and Kirsten Wilker of Meet the Depressed, NBC. I normally don't mock and ridicule things, but I think the mainstream media is with it. This is 1 minute and 51 seconds. We've got time to do it, so let's do it.
They had FBI agents.
Real quick, this is President Trump being interviewed by Kirsten Wilker on NBC Meet the Depressed. They're in a metal barn in Wisconsin, I believe, and they got a John Deere tractor. They got the American flag, promoting farming like we need to promote in the South. We've got great land. We need to go ahead and make sure that our farmers get taken care of.
Ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking always in the side. They weren't in. They were being ushered into the building.
There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of.
There's no evidence of FBI at the J6 protest. That's absolutely false. There's no evidence. Do you see where she comes from? A place of prestige and arrogance. But President Trump does a good job of showing this. And all she can do is say there's no evidence. But there's all the evidence in the world. It's on videotape. And moreover, on a side note, as someone who's interviewed at least 4 J6ers, I can't remember how many I've interviewed. But I can tell you this, never once did they raise their voice to me. They had every reason to get excited. They had their civil rights detained from them. Writ of no habeas corpus in the DC gulag. Yep.
Dirty cops. And frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's
And our government is weaponized. Depending on what you want to believe, you can say that there are dirty cops on the left and dirty cops on the right. But there's more good cops than bad. It's just that you get a little bit of poo-poo in the brownie, and the whole brownie is poo-poo, right?
there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000
No,
people.
there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
Would you take?
Look, and again, President Trump goes, go look at the tapes where they have clear manipulation, especially the dirty cop who shot the one J6 protester through the door and then ended up having some type of business in Maryland. Yep. And all she can say is no evidence.
Look at the tapes one time.
But 172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled?
How many people have pled guilty to lower charges just so they wouldn't go to jail? And I see what Kristen Welker is trying to do here, but it is completely fake. And there's a lot of good people who sit there and look at it. Look, you're looking at 30 years for this, but if you plead guilty to this, you'll get 6 months suspended with no felony.
They were going to jail for 15 years if they didn't.
Should they?
They pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
Okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
Yes. What you saw was a real life deep state insurrection on January 6, 2020. And not only should those people who got illegally detained and lost years of their lives be repaid, that's the secondary part of it. I know that's going to take issue with a lot of J6 families and J6 supporters, but that's the secondary issue. What needs to happen is the people at the FBI and these other agencies that were going ahead and mocking this all, they all need to fry in court. They all need to get the serious jail sentences. Kristen Welker.
The people were destroyed by dirty cops.
And one more thing. Not everybody has Trump money to go ahead and hire defense lawyers to go ahead and defend themselves from these crooked prosecutors. Prosecutorial discretion. I got another clip here, but I want to go 405 right here. Here we go. This is where President Trump just says, you know what? I've had enough of your nonsense journalism, Kirsten Wilker. I'm going to just walk out.
Let me ask you about Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about Todd Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk
There's
about Todd
tremendous evidence. There's nothing but
not been
evidence. The
presented
election
in a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
It wasn't presented in a court of law, Kirsten Wilker, because the judges wouldn't allow it. And so this is just like the ballot stealing that's going on in Los Angeles right now. We all see it. The American people aren't doing anything about it.
happening again right now in
never
California.
presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with.
That's how they count
You know
the
why they're
votes in
doing that? Because
California.
The third world chicken crap nation of Peru can count 27 million votes in one day. Yet the third world or the first world techno-terror state that is California can't count the ballots in a day. They got to wait weeks. And they sit there and they figure out how many votes they need on election night. And then they have the mail-in votes come in after the fact. That's a 14th Amendment violation. I mean, government's got to get on top of this quick because there's going to be all sorts of problems if it's not fixed. And I'm not inciting violence or anything. I just see the writing on the wall.
they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge.
Look at, and she's sitting there again. This is why people don't trust the media. She's sitting there making excuses for this, and I'm just not for it. I'm just not for it. Let's take a phone call. Let's not. We'll try this one. Line 2. Here we go again. Hey, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Got line 2 to work. How's it going, my friend? Well, I guess line 2 is not working. Look, we got multiple phone lines here, but for whatever reason, I can't get line 2 to work. Hey, you there?
Hey, what about now?
Hey, look good. Go ahead.
So I'm just wondering if the president of the United States of America is saying that there is voter fraud, and he can't put together a team to go look at it, then what am I supposed to do as a civilian?
You know what? That is what scares the hell out of me, because it's a completely legitimate and fair point, my friend. The president has been stymied in the Senate. He's been stymied in the House. His Department of Justice is completely not running the way it's supposed to. And here's a guy who went in and cleared house. And we're not going to get.
Whenever he started off, when he ran his campaign and when he got in, he said he was going to basically cast the CIA and the FBI into 1,000 pieces and get it back to what it's supposed to be. And he said that he was going to do all these things. And I understand the Senate and I understand the House. I understand all that sort of stuff. But if he is the executive of the country, if he can't do send Christy Dome or somebody like that to go look at these elections, I don't know what other options we have.
I don't either, but I don't even want to speculate on it because it's going to be.
The other thing is that's going to be really going to be it's going to be the downfall of this country. Y'all got to go look at the NDAA 224 of 2027. It's 5 pages, and it puts a person in office that the only person they have to answer to is the president and Congress once a year. Other than that, there's nobody in the entire government that they answer to, just the president. And it gives Israel complete control over all of our secrets, all of our military, every agency that we have. They get everything. They get all the stuff we're working on. They get all the. I mean, it's insane. It's truly insane. And if you think that's not enough, There is a bill being proposed in the Senate. I got to look at the number. I think it's like 640. But it does the exact same thing. They're coming at us at all fronts, to get all of our secrets, to do all of our stuff, and not only get our stuff, put somebody in charge of all of our stuff.
Well, this is all biblical, but I think you're seeing the deep state reacting more publicly than they would want to, and that's because of our president, and that's why I support him the way I do. And a lot of people are upset because we're not getting everything we want, but at the same time, I look at it, I'm like, okay, Kamala, okay, who am I going to get instead of President Trump? And I think that's
no, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I think it's Rick. I got to take a commercial break, but you want to continue this on the other side?
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. That is Brother Rick. We'll be right back. Rick, I didn't mean to cut you short, but I got to make sure I'm hitting my cues.
No, you're good. I'm managing it up.
No, I appreciate that, because there are people who get upset, and I'm one of those people who give people all the grace in the world until you lie to me.
You gave Reggie all the rope he needed to hang himself.
Yeah, well, his name is Thomas, actually, and the thing is I've got his number now, and I don't know if I want to take another one of his phone calls because he lied to me.
I wouldn't.
I have to really sit down and go into prayer about this, because I want to give people who disagree with me a fair opportunity, but I don't want people who are yelling and screaming and being hateful.
He doesn't make good points. He has topics that he touches on, but he's not versed in them, so he can't discuss them. So the only thing he can do is go back to yelling and race and slavery.
Yep.
Why in the hell would we put a NFL stadium in the middle of the Delta? That is dumb on its face.
It's I didn't even realize that. I just heard stadium, so I didn't know if it was like a football stadium for a high school or a college, or if there's something out there. But when he said it, I didn't hear it, dude. But I agree that's stupid. All right, we're gonna go quiet here for a minute. We'll be right back.
I would.
Oh yeah, welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Talking to Brother Rick, and so you didn't like my argument that I had a binary choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, And
what I'm saying is, you can want one thing and want another at the same time. I did not want Kamala. I never would have voted for a Democrat. I'm not saying that, by me opposing Trump, some of his decisions does not mean that I want the alternative. What it means is I want Trump and all his promises. I want what he said he was going to do.
I do too. And when you sit there and I'm only saying this because I'm a recovering politician myself, and I put people into positions of power where I had the authority to do that, and they said they were going to do certain things, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to use the words I want to say, but they wimped out. Let's just put it like that. It's frustrating because then I got to go through all the hustle of going ahead and removing their nomination and going through a board that hates me. And so I guess I just have a little bit more, I don't know, grace is the right word or patience is the right word, or just because I've been through the fire, that's what it is. But I want to make sure that you get your point out there,
Well, my point is this. All right, if y'all look at this as I'm right and this NDAA is a big deal, all right, if we attack it like it's the problem that I think it is, and I'm wrong, what have we lost? Nothing. If we attack it if we go about it your way and say there's nothing there, we business all the time and nothing to fear and don't worry about it, and you're wrong, then what?
Then the slippery slope continues and the biblical prophecy continues.
Well, I can see we're not going to agree on this, but let me go back to something you said earlier.
Yep.
It's tell a vision. Tell a vision. It's also called programming for a reason.
Yep.
You've got to get off of these TVs and start learning things for yourself. You can't trust Google to tell you what's going on. I don't give a crap which radio station you listen to or TV. If the people in charge tell you it's raining, open your door and look, because they're not going to be lying. They're not going to be telling you the truth. They're going to be lying to you all the time.
I like to say all the time, trust me, but verify me. And if the data I say is correct, but my interpretation of the data is wrong, that's one thing. But when you're purposely lying and denying the fact that you're pushing a homosexual agenda since 1988 on the television, you just don't admit it until 2026 when no one even cares anymore. That's the real deal. I could say the same thing to this NDAA Act. I can remember back in 2003 when the one was cited and they were talking about putting censorship or probing tools, search and spying tools onto American browsers back in 2003 NDAA, and look at where it is now. So when you talk about what's happening with this Israeli thing, what is it, 224? I think you said it was
224. It's 224. Yep. It's 5 pages. It's 5 pages, and it's very clear what's going to happen. I mean, come on, guys, y'all can read 5 pages.
Well, it's a markup, is what I saw, and Section 224 was only 2 paragraphs. Has it changed since the last time we looked at it?
The whole thing is 5 pages. And when I called you about it last week, there wasn't a whole lot out on it. There's way more information out on it now, and it is a big deal. It literally makes another a position in government that is the only person to answer to is the president and Congress once a year. They do not have to ask anybody to get anything they want, and they are free to share it with whoever they want. They answer to Trump, and they answer to the Prime Minister of Israel. That's it.
Yep, I'm actually trying to pull up the thing now because it's pulling up the text of it. It's still only.
I think it's Thomas.law. I'll send you the link when I find it. Yep. But it has the whole 5 pages written out and all that stuff.
Can we talk about one more thing?
Yeah.
I want to talk about NFL football stadiums in the Delta.
Hey, that makes about as much sense as putting a penguin display on the coast. There's no traffic there. There's nobody there. Who would work it? Okay, if you want to bring jobs, I get it. But have a realistic argument about it. Okay, what are you going to bring? Bring in a car manufacturer. Bring in something like that. But still, they're not going to bring that in because you don't have the personnel, because half of the country, 54%, read at a 6th grade level or lower. We've got to fix our schools to get jobs. That's just all there is to it. There's no skilled labor here anymore. Everybody wants handouts. They want you to create the job so you can give them the benefit.
Yep. And
it doesn't make any sense. Go get it yourself.
Well, let me bring this up because I want to bring this full circle. Blue Sim, I want to thank you for pointing out Mr. Thomas and Reggie. But there's there's a city that's been electing community organizers now for 14 years, and that's the city of Chicago. And the city of Chicago is going to lose the Chicago Bears, my beloved Chicago Bears, to the city of Hammond, Indiana, because they can't run their city. Even when you promote, and it's not a race issue, it's a political issue. It's a Democrat issue. When you put Democrats given the keys to the kingdom and you just let them run wild, they destroy it. Look what's happening in Los Angeles. Look what's happening in New York. Look what's happening in Chicago or Seattle. It all remains the same. It's not the race or even the sex of the person that's the problem. It's the political ideology.
Well, I never brought up race one time.
Yeah, I
What
know,
I'm saying
but
is you can't give somebody wealth.
Nope.
You have to earn that, and that's the only way to do that is to be educated. So if you want jobs out there and all that farmland, which by the way, you need to educate yourself on, this farmland is not given down. If a farm is owned by somebody and they die, the people that get it have to pay huge amounts of tax.
It's ridiculous, dude. With me walking with Parkinson's like I am, we're looking at trusts and stuff like that because we want to make sure that the next generation of farmer gets to keep the farm. Because if you don't do, I'm not giving legal advice, but I'm telling you need to call Sean Yerker on or somebody and do some estate planning if you're a farmer, because the government will take it away from you. They will tax the living snot out of you.
Because they'll take, you might have bought the land, your grandparents might have bought the land $500 an acre. They're going to come in and reassess it. And God forbid you're next to one of these data centers, but they're going to reassess the property value of it. And whenever your grandfather dies and it gets passed down to you, you've got to cover the difference. And that could be millions of dollars depending on how many acres you have. If you don't have it, guess what? You lose it. And that's why we're losing so many farms. I think like 2/3 of the farms are in potential collapse, and 1/3 of them have already closed. If we don't have farms, guys, we don't have food.
No, you open up so many cans of worms, literally. But no, the whole data center thing right now, 50 to 60% of data centers that are proposed in Mississippi are either underfunded or behind schedule. 50 to 60% of the data centers. And there's
Hey, you want to go into some funding issues? Guess what they're using to fund these things now?
no
Your
idea.
401s.
That's just scary to me. That's just scary to me. Last thing I got to say, because you brought it up, what are we supposed to eat? Everybody knows that I enjoy Uncle Roger. If you're not watching Uncle Roger for some comedic relief, it definitely would suggest it. It's adult. It's not exploited, X-rated or anything like that, but definitely got some choice language in there. But he reviewed egg fried rice with insects. And dude, you watch it now. You want to talk about television and programming the youths of America? They're now making egg fried rice with insects to get kids to eat the bugs. And
crickets. And the chitin and the shell in their exoskeletons.
This had
causing all kind of issues.
Slugs and all sorts of stuff, dude. It's like not just crickets, dude. I'll be truthful. I went through SEER training and I had to eat bugs before. And will it sustain you? Yes. Will it taste like crap? Will you throw up? I think I threw up more in that time when I was going through SEER training because I was eating that, and I had to friggin' hold it down for 5 minutes before I could go on. It was
survival and evasion is not sustainable. All you're doing is you're getting through this crisis to try to get to the next one, but you can't do it daily.
But eating a bug is horrible. But I'm just saying it because I've actually done it and I know. And you can put all the freaking hot sauce and whatever else you want on it. You don't want to eat bugs. You want to eat cow. You want to eat lamb. You want to eat chicken. Rick, give you the last word. We got to run.
Hey man, I'm just saying, turn the programming off and learn something for yourself. I don't care what it is. Just get with you and your kids, get with you and your family, you and your friends, whatever. And y'all just learn something, anything.
Yep.
It'll make you a better person.
Yep. Rick, appreciate it as always. Take care, my friend. That was Brother Rick. I'm Andrew Gosser. You're listening to 103.9 WYAB. Fuyo! Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. Causing a little bit of a ruckus today, but not bad, not bad. We're talking like it is. And Trump has once again completely manipulated the press with him now attending the New York Knicks game. And I think it's awesome. We've got a great president who's sitting there doing that. And caller, I'll get to you in a little bit. Here, I'll even answer it, but say, hey, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second while we get this story out of the way. But New York Knicks ticket prices, how much do you think it would be for the New York Knicks final game? 5,000? And I'm talking courtside. I'm not talking no bourgeois upper deck rafter nonsense. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. And this data is 2 days old, so prices have more likely gone up. But the New York Knicks have talked about ticket prices because of President Trump showing up. He's culture. He's an icon. Everybody knows him. And the media can't placate him and turn him into something that he's not. We've watched him grow up in movies like Home Alone, The Apprentice. People cheered him. They loved him. Nosebleed tickets for the Knicks game tomorrow night, $10,680. Courtside behind the bench, or actually behind the bench, Knicks side, $53,553 for one ticket. $45,000 if you want to be front side. And let's be truthful, the Knicks are a horrible basketball team. They're a horrible basketball team. There is only one reason that the Knicks are going to win it all, if they win it all. And that's because of Love That Danhausen cursing everybody. He's cursing everybody. All right, I just wanted to get that story out of the way. I want to take this caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah.
Thank you for holding. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my issue with President Trump and Kristen Welker interview was she did ask him for evidence. And I guess, and I'm just the guy that's sitting on the couch, and I'm asking myself, well, if they've cheated and nobody has prosecuted anybody for election fraud when it comes to the 2020 election, but yet we have all of this technology, we have the DNI, we can listen to people's conversations, we can pull up phone records, emails, nothing can be deleted apparently. So why is there not any traffic or coordination for this big, massive fraud in all of these different states, whether it's Pennsylvania, whether it was Wisconsin, whether it was Georgia? You know, my thing is we have too much technology not to be able to catch somebody coordinating a massive voter fraud scheme, even in California.
John, you're
running for.
I was just going to say, you're a smart guy and you get it. We've got too much technology. When the state or the third world country of Peru can count votes faster than California, we got something wrong.
Yeah, but here's the other problem.
They don't have mail-in ballot. They don't have mail-in balloting.
Do you believe in states' rights?
Oh, absolutely. But the states' rights. But let's be very careful on this, because there's two issues with this. One is the 14th Amendment, which equalizes the states, but we also have to look at the Constitution, which says states can conduct their elections the way they see fit. So it's kind of like a two-tier standard. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if California, if some states have a caucus, some states in California, they have mail-in balloting. And for some reason, everybody likes to think that there's massive fraud in mail-in balloting. That's an opinion. But my thing is, if you're a poker player, or my thing is put up or shut up. Go ahead and show me the massive fraud. Get the FBI in there. If you believe there's fraud, have somebody go in, seize the ballots like they did in Atlanta, or seize phone records. Whomever you believe is part of this massive fraud, go ahead and bring the indictment, because they have indicted everybody else on stuff as foolish as mortgage fraud. So my thing is, bring the evidence. Go indict somebody.
I think the evidence has been out there, John. But the problem is there's this thing called prosecutorial discretion. And when you have people like who are DAs who are funded by George Soros, who do not look at election fraud the same as child pornography or whatever issue you want to put out there, it all comes down to that. Just like New York, right? I mean, I'm not doing that, and I'll give you the last word, but we're coming up on a commercial break, and I don't want to be rude.
But my thing is this: if you want the SAVE Act to be passed, the American people will believe you if you start prosecuting people, showing the fraud, getting some prosecutions. But when you're just singing it like a campaign slogan, like to get my base worked up, it's almost like the boy that cried wolf. And, I get tired of hearing this ad nauseum. Please prosecute somebody so that you can show us this massive fraud.
Well,
all I ask.
Brother John, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make sure I send this to the right people, and they're going to hear it from Brother John in Mississippi. I appreciate you calling in, my friend.
Have a good day.
Yep. Democrats calling in. He's got a point. He's got a valid point. When you say that you've got fraud and you've got your people in place to go ahead and prosecute it, and then you don't do it, I look at it more as the Epstein issue for me personally. But Georgia, there's been a lot of, my goodness, let's try to take this. But real quick, with Georgia, there were people who were sabotaging that whole thing, and they all lost their election, and now everything's coming out. Caller, are you there?
Yes, this is Willie. I just wanted to say something about this fraud thing. I heard John, I think his name is John, say that we have so much technology that we shouldn't be able to. Actually, why is it that they're having an issue with they have to re-vote again for the Hines County supervisor seat by Archie? That doesn't mean anything about that right there. The fact is that we have they got always obstacles to stop things from being found out. Okay, but luckily David Archie stayed with it and kept pursuing it, and it kept going on. And about that thing about the NFL,
that was crazy.
Having a stadium built. We need to get away from that thing like that. There's no slavery going on in the state of Mississippi, and we need to stop that and leave that issue alone and let people go ahead and start doing what they know they need to do. Okay?
I appreciate the phone call, Brother Willie. Praying for you, my man. That was awesome. That's a good place to go to a commercial break, but it just goes to show you that there's so many people out there who understand and see that something's wrong. How we go about it. That's the whole real issue right there. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're going to take our last break. Hey, just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in today for the show. It was pretty good and spicy. Lots of phone calls, lots of debate. Appreciate that. Didn't even get a chance to talk about David Archie. I really didn't even get a chance to talk about Christian Welker. But that's what this local talk radio is all about. That's why you guys listen to 103.9 WYB. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's supporting me, supports Clay, supports Chip, supports Kim. We appreciate y'all, and never think for a minute that we don't. You guys are the best. Hey, we're in a commercial break. What's up?
I just want to talk to you about last week. You mentioned that dogs can vote in California because you read some obscure article about a person trying to register their dog.
Can you
to
wait till
vote.
can we wait till we're on the air?
Certainly,
All right, just give me a second.
no hurry.
Hey, we're getting to it quick. You aren't listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Caller, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you too. And we've got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to give you the first 2 minutes. Go.
Well, this is going to be quick. Last week, you mentioned that dogs are allowed to vote in California because you read an obscure article about a man trying to register his dog to vote in California, which is absurd. Secondly, today, you indicated that all district attorneys are reluctant to bring forth evidence relative to fraud because they're funded by George Soros. All district attorneys are funded by George Soros. Are you that sick that you believe that?
Well, so this is what I would say. If you look at Soros funded states attorneys and district attorneys, they are not prosecuting fraud. It's just the statistics. It's like 97%.
Which ones are funded by Soros? Which ones are not? Is the DA in Jackson, Mississippi funded by Soros?
Jody Owens?
Come on now.
He's actually taking money from from George Soros, but he's under indictment and he's not going to do it anyways. But
that's sick. That's sick.
So
George Soros is not funding DAs across the United States.
Brother,
come on, get real.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do to you. What I did with this is ABC News a obscure website?
For me, it is, yes.
How about Fox News?
That is absolutely a foreign site.
How about CBS?
I love it.
How about Orange County Prosecutor, State's Attorney's Office? Is that
I lived in Orange County. I know more than you do about Orange County.
Well, then, why are you dissing on the Orange County District Attorney's press release? Costa Mesa woman charged with 5 felonies for illegally registering her dog to vote, casting mail-in ballots sent to dog.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. There are people that vote for Yogi Berra.
No.
So what? Come on. There's 40 million people in California.
Brother, you're not listening. I
People.
got to take you down here because you're not listening to what I'm saying, and I'm trying to be respectful. But the Orange County prosecutor said woman's charged with 5 felonies for illegally registering her dog to vote. She pled guilty to it, and her dog actually voted in the Democrat primary election. This is not
absolutely true.
It's
absolutely true.
So then everything I said was not obscure or wrong. I absolutely said everything.
One person, no, One person out of 40 million. 1 person out of 40 million.
Brother, we're gonna have to leave it there, man. I got nothing for you, man. But I appreciate you listening and debating, and I appreciate that
you really don't.
No, I
really don't. You don't want to hear the other side.
I give
You
you
don't
all
wanna hear
the
it.
oh my goodness. No, I appreciate you out there. If I didn't have to go to the hard break at the top of the hour, we would continue this. I hope you do call back, because if one dog owner in California can do it, that means 2 dog owners can do it. This one was just stupid enough to get caught. And, it's just one of those things where, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I have conversations with people who disagree with me, preferably on the Democrat liberal side, because it just goes to show you can sit there and bring up point after point after point, obscure news sources like CBS, ABC, and I've picked the liberal ones, except for Fox News. Fox News had the best audio version of that. But I think I played Eyewitness 7, didn't I? I don't know. It's saved on my Twitter feed. You can go look at it there, which is, again, why I do that. And everybody's sitting there shaking their head right now going, my goodness. If I come on the air and lie and sit there and purposely deceive you, I'm going to hear it. But I don't do that. If I got something wrong, then I would. But again, this is 2020. This is 2025. This was just last year. It's already last year news, and people just overlook it. And I come from Chicago, and I was in Orange County too. The military had me out there for a little bit. I'm not going to say I knew it as good as you did, but I knew it enough to know it was corrupt as hell. And what I will say too is I will do the research, ladies and gentlemen. I will do the research on George Soros funded states attorneys all across the United States, and we will get to it in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, it's come to that time. And again, I thank all my callers, even the ones who lied to me. I think the ones that disagree with me. I like the ones that agree with me and reinforce my argument. Special shout out to Blue Sim. Fuyo! If you know, you know. We'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to do it all over again. Who knows what we'll find. But I will have some George Soros stats ready to go, because I really am wanting to make sure that when we have arguments like this, we counter them. Until then, take care, everybody. Be blessed. Yes, and amen.